Alright, so welcome back. Now that we have understand some basics and how an entity is formed, let's try to play around with some entities. So let's first messing around with point entity. I'm gonna press Shift E or click this bump tool to enter entity tool. You can see up here entity class by default is info player start Dota. You can change this behavior by go to tools option and change it in here. For example, I'm going to change it to npc Dota base. Enter, apply, and OK. You can see it by default will turn to npc database. Cool. So there's a lot of point entities here that I will not cover in one go. So some of these entities are extracted from other source game, and and some entities is not usable because it's not work with Dota 2 Workshop tool. So my recommendation should be getting started with some with entity that has Dota within its name. One more thing is if you find it hard to look for entity, basically entity names is self-descriptive. It will already describe what is used. So yeah, just a few notes about that. So let's first create a dire and a radiant crypt to find intercam. I'm gonna spawn here. As you can see, it's a point in the space. Double click. Now, by default, the NPC database is a class which is entity respond for spawning the unit. So all we have to do is modify this unit name. By default, it's NPC Dora neutral Kobo. I want to change it to the Radiant Crypt. So how to find the appropriate name? Let's open Source 2 Viewer. If you guys want to download, I will leave the link down in the description. In Source 2 Viewer, let's go to Explorer. For now, it automatically detects Dota 2 and Counter-Strike 2 in my directory. Let's expand this. Look for game Dota Park 01 and double click it. This will open the VPK file and decompile it. Next, let's go to the script folder right here, and npc and npc unit. Double click to open. There you go. We have a bunch of keys here for each npc unit. Let's search for Radiant. It's probably npc crypt. Let's search for crypt instead. Crypt good guy, as far as I can remember. There is a range. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double click and Control C to copy it back to hammer. Let's close it. Back to hammer, and then you can paste it in here, and then there you go. It will spawn a Radiant melee crypt. For team number, let's set it to good guys, so it's on the same teams as the heroes of ours. Save it and close. Next, I'm gonna left click somewhere else and repeat the same for the die. So good guy will be bad guys. Don't know why Val named this, but yeah, bad guys die. Okay. For the team number, I will go to bad guys. Save. All right. So after we in game, there will be two crypts spawn here, and they will probably fight each other. That's for the NPC database. Let's look at other to see anything fancy. Let's try with the Dota building right here. I'm gonna spawn on the river. put it somewhere there. This time, there's many fields for this entity, but I think I'm gonna just change the world model. Let's search for barracks. You can choose any models you want. I want to pick this. Right, now it had the model. This is used to create a in-game world model. Next, I can try with the tree, for example. There you have the anti-Dota tree. Let's spawn it somewhere here. It's still a point. Also, we have to set it a world model. Let's go and find a tree. And doesn't matter which one. Let's pick one randomly, right? So in the later videos, I will show you how this entity can affect the navigation data. Especially in the grid nav episode, we'll discuss more about these behaviors. Okay. So we have some building trees and then 2 units. Let's play around with a different entity that doesn't contain the Dota keyword here. For example, you can search for overlay, info overlay, yeah. And I think I will put it in here. For now, it requires a material, as far as I can remember. Let's click here. Since it's an overlay, it probably fit with the spray material. Spray. Let's pick this one. Yep. Then it will cut overlay in the ground when we cut in game. Cool. So yeah, we have some kind of point entity layout within the map. There's a lot of other entity as well, but feel free to try it, and I will spend future videos to explain each one if I have encountered any logic I need to explain. Let's move on to the mesh entity. So for the mesh entity, let's first go to the block tool or press Shift B. Here, geometry tile should be blocked, yes. I will create a small block, hit enter, raise it up a bit, and press T, and drag it up here. So without doing anything, the mesh is just a normal mesh. To convert it to an entity, let's press the tile selected mesh, choose entity. Make sure mesh is selected and click. Now it is grabbed inside an entity, and by default is a trigger underscore Dota entity. As you can see, it has a different class name in when it's tied to a mesh, because this is a mesh entity. Trigger is also a special term that used in source 2 in general. Since it's quite big topic, so I will save it for later videos when we explore more about v-scripting used within trigger. So for now, let's just do some showcases. Let's change it to kind of what I want to try is func rotating, and I'm gonna double click. Next, let's expand the spawn flag, enable this one, and I want to rotate by the y-axis. Save. Okay, what I have done is I'm gonna let this block keep rotating. Let's just one more thing to do with max rotation speed. Just okay. Let's decrease it a bit so it will rotate a bit slower, 20 for example. All right, that's we will look at it when we head back in game. The next one I want to show is, let's create another block here. Shift B and cover the whole player. Hit enter, and you can raise it up like this one. Now we will create a trigger that will allow player to act to access the shop. You don't have to understand it too much. Just follow me. First, let's browse. We will add a trigger material to this block by hovering over on it and press Shift T. There you go. It has been converted to a trigger material. Basically, what it does is it's gonna after the map build, it will be hidden from the player, but it's always exists there to do some functionalities. Next, I'm gonna tie the selected mesh entity to convert to an entity. By default, it will be trigger Dota. Let's change it to some kind of trigger shop. There you go. Press save. We don't have to do much in this trigger shop. Just make sure it's enabled. Yes, okay. Okay, to recap, we have created 2 dire and radiant crypt right here. We have messed around with a world model of a building, and we created entity tree in the river. Then we move to the overlay entity, also a point entity in here. We create a block and assign to a class entity fun rotating to allow it to rotate on the y-axis. We'll see it in game. And finally, we create a block of trigger material here to allow the player to spawn right in the shop range so they can buy items. That's it for the quick play around to about the point and the mesh entity. So you can spend time to play around this later. So let's see it in game by go to File, Build Map, and Build. All right, so we are back on the cliff again. You can see in the distance the 2 crypts we spawn are starting to fighting each other. It seems work well. We also head up a small building here and a tree entity over here. Oh, the radiant crypt has won. We have an overlay spray on the top of the terrain, and we have a mesh that keep rotating because we set it to rotate on the y-axis. And finally, if you go right click here, you can see that we outside of the soft range, and if we click here, we get back to the soft range and we can start purchase item. All right, that's it for this video. The next one we will focus on trying to understand the entity IOs. This video is now quite exhaustive. I will end here. Until the next one, have a great weekend, and I'll see you later. Bye.